Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize for this being so late, but here we go. Now, on this one, we're going to rewrite each expression using a fractional exponent. So my base is 4, and my power is 2. The exponent is to the 5th. All right, so you have 4 to the 2/5 power. Now, remember, your index on the next one is 2. Your power is 1, so this would be a to the 1/2 power. All right? Now, if I look at this next one, the cube root of 343, remember your base is 343. Your index is 3, and your power, even though it's not there, is 1, so 343 to the 1/3 power. Okay, now on the second section, we're going to simplify using laws of exponents, and we've learned this in class. Now remember, on this first one, it's a base times a base, and they're like bases, so we add the exponents. So this would be a to the power of 6 plus 6, so that's a to the 12th. Now on here, you got to multiply the numbers first, so 3 times 7 is 21, and because you have like bases on the v's, you're going to add those. So v to the 4th plus v to the 9th is v to the 13th, and that's your answer, 21v to the 13th. Now remember, you could do this m to the 9th over m to the 4th two ways. You can either say m to the 9 minus 4, and you would get m to the 5th. Now that's one way of thinking about it. The other way of thinking about it would be to think of it as a battle. And I've told some of you this, but if we were going into battle and you have m to the 9th versus m to the 4th, who would win the battle? Well, the top would by 5, so the answer would be m to the 5th. Now look at this next one. You got to reduce the numbers first. So in this case, 8 reduces the 16 to 2. Let me change that color there, make it a little bit better. Alright, so that changes that to 2. Alright, now what you end up with is n to the 6th over 2 n to the 3rd. Now in this case, it's easy to say who wins the battle, the 6 or the 3. Well, that means the 6 would win it by 3, and so what you would end up with is n to the 3rd over 2. This next one, this one right here, remember when you have a power to a power, you actually multiply the powers. So 5 times 8 is actually c to the 40th. Now on this one, this is like saying two groups of 4 c to the 3rd times 4 c to the 3rd. Well, if you do 4 times 4, that's 16. And c to the 3rd times c to the 3rd, well, you would just add the exponent, so you would have c to the 6th power. Now, there's another way of thinking about that, and you could just do it this way. Let's just click. Oh, I don't want to click that. Let me just erase that. Go back up here. All right. Oh, let me just go back here. Okay, so here we go. Let me erase this real quick. No, not what I wanted. Hold on a second. Nope, didn't do it. So one of the things we could do is, I'm going to erase this real quick. I apologize if it messes you up a little bit. Alright, so now I got rid of all that. Another way of thinking about this is if you think about, cancel that. If you distribute that too, so 4 squared would be 16, and you could say, hey, I'm going to raise a power to a power. Well, with that 2, you can multiply that 2 times that 3, and you get c to the 6th power. That's another way of doing it. Now remember, before you do this one, the 4 is not inside the parentheses, so it's only c to the 3rd that's being squared. And the answer to that is 4c to the 6th. This next one, I'm not going to show you how to do it, but remember I told you you need to have it done. Remember, it's an unhappy, so 8 divided by 2 is -4, and then you got to make it positive, so you end up getting 1 over 16 to the 4th. On the last one, you have to multiply the exponents, so you end up with p to the -12 over p to the -14. And when you subtract the exponents, you actually get p to the 2nd power. So I'll just giving you those answers. Now we worked this one in class. Remember, you're substituting in for d, so equals 0.5. All right, 0.5. And d is 216 to the 1/3 power. All right, now, so remember that 1/3 means you're going to take the cube root. So t is equal to 0.5, the cube root of 216, which happens to be 6. So if you're using your cheat sheet, that happens to be 6. And so what you end up, actually I'm going to write it down here. So t is equal to 0.5 times 6. And another name for 0.5 is half, so half of 6 is 3. And so therefore it takes 3 seconds for the pebble to fall 216 feet. Okay, on number 4, if a post is placed diagonally against the wall, so basically you're creating this right triangle here. All right? Remember, this is A or this is B or vice versa. Remember, A is 11, B is 12. So if you use this formula right here, what you end up getting is this. You get C is equal to, A is 11, so you get 11 squared, plus 12, which is B squared, so 12 squared, all to the 1/2 power. Now you got to do inside first. You got to do these first. So C is equal to the square root, or 11 squared is 121, plus 144, all to the 1/2 power. Now, you got to add these inside first before you do the square root. So this turns out to be 265, and you're going to carry it to the 1/2 power because you still have this power right here. Now, that 1/2 power means you're going to take the square root. So let's go up here. Let's rewrite this as the square root of 265. Not a very good number there. Sorry about that. Let me erase that. All right, so that's the square root of 265. Now, in this case, there is no square root of 265. So if you were using your calculator, you would see that it would be between 15 and 17. All right, so this would be approximately 16.3, and we're going to do approximately. So it's approximately 16.3 feet. Or you can just leave it as the square root of 265. All right, I'll give you a little hint on this one. It says the area of a square, and we're going to use this formula. So if I use that formula, A is A to the 1/2. So if we want to find a side, we're going to simply plug in this area right there. So I get S is equal to 36 x to the 4th. Now, this y right there, that's wrong. It should be y to the 6th. And it's all to the 1/2 power. Okay, if you notice, we plugged it in right there. And then you still have it to the 1/2 power. Now, remember that 1/2 power means square root. So let's go up here. We have S is equal to, we're going to change that fraction exponent to square root. And you're going to have 36 x to the 4th, y to the 6th. Now remember, the square root of 36 is 6. The square root of x to the 4th is x squared, and then y to the 3rd. Now, that's one way of thinking about it. Another way of thinking about it, let me redo it so you can pause this and wait for me to start again. I'm going to go ahead and erase all of this right here. Okay? Actually, it'll be easier if I do this. Now, let's start this over again. I'm going to use S is equal to A to the power of 1/2. I'm going to plug that in right here. So I get S equals 36, remember, x to the 4th, y to the 6th. Change that. All to the power of 1/2. Now, remember, when you raise a power to a power, you multiply. So this might be easier for you. I'm going to take that power. The power of 36 is 1. So 1/2 times 1 is 36 to the 1/2. Half of 4 is 2, so you get x squared. Half of 6 is 3, so you get y to the 3rd. Now, these two are done. I've got to worry about this one now, the 36 to the 1/2 power. Well, when I come up here, if you notice, 36 to 1/2 power means the square root of 36. And you still have x squared, y to the 3rd. The square root of 36 is 6. Go ahead and bring down your x squared, y to the 3rd, and it's the same answer. And there you go. Now, I'm not going to work this one for you. I'm going to let you figure this one out. But I will give you the answer to this one. This is number 6. The answer is area is equal to 25 x to the 4th, y squared, z to the 6th. Now, for you to get credit for that, you got to show me You got to show me using a picture and the work how to get that. Okay, on this last one, you have to use this You have to use this formula, and I'm giving you the mass, so you are plugging in to that m right there. Okay? So with that knowledge, let's go ahead and work this. I get c is equal to 72. We're going to plug in 16, and that's going to be to the 3/4 power. Now, what this means is, as we set it up, we get 72. That 4 is the index, so it's the fourth root of 16, and then we're going to carry the answer to the third power. Now remember, the fourth root of 16, if you use your cheat sheet, is 2, because 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16. So I end up getting c is equal to 72. This is actually 2 to the third power. So now you can do 2 to the third power, which is 8. And you end up getting c is equal to 72 times 8. And that actually happens to be 576. So a Australian sheepdog would require 576 calories, or would need 576 calories a day. Now, when you do this thing with the Asian elephant, you're going to do the same thing, except the Asian elephant is 4,096 kilograms. You're going to plug that in place of where 16 is and go through the same process. Now, the answer you're going to get is 36,864. And now, finally, we're going to do this one right here. Approximately how many sheepdogs would it take to equal the caloric intake of one Asian elephant? Well, if we take that one Asian elephant and we divide it by however many it takes for one sheepdog, which is 576, that fraction right there turns out to be 64. And that is hopefully that this will help you out studying for your quiz.